What's going on, y'all? Dave Zabinski here, Colossal Strength Systems. Today, I want to talk about the ketogenic diet. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the ketogenic diet through social media. It's getting a ton of publicity right now. The thing is, it's not necessarily a fad diet because it's been around. We have research of people studying it in the early 1900s, not to mention the bodybuilding and fat loss community has been using it for about 20, 30 years as well. So I just want to break it down today. What is the ketogenic diet? Is it good? Is it bad? Pros and cons, and if I were going to recommend it, who would I recommend that for? So first up, what is the ketogenic diet? The ketogenic diet is a diet that is carb-free, so that way your body goes into ketosis. Ketosis is your body's ability to create ketones as its energy source. Glucose or sugar, which is essentially carbohydrates, is your body's preferred source of fuel. When those aren't present, our liver creates ketones to now run off that fuel so your brain and body can keep going, okay? Now, in that, what's good about ketosis? Now, we have research showing pretty significant results for people who are endurance athletes and also extreme fat loss athletes. The endurance athlete is because in a low intensity exercise like jogging, Ironman, triathletes, that the body is going to run better off the aerobic system and fat versus the anaerobic system running off carbs. So it's good for long-term exercise or longer duration exercise, not high intensity exercise. But for extreme fat loss purposes, it's very good because a lot of people, when they gain 100, 200 pounds, run into insulin resistance, which can lead to diabetes. And essentially that just means your body can't metabolize carbohydrates very well anymore. So what a ketogenic diet does, because this individual can't metabolize carbohydrates anymore, the body relearns how to use fat oxidation. So these people are 100, 200 pounds overweight, get better fat loss than they did before because their body is starting to relearn how to use fat oxidation and actually use fat for fuel instead of these carbohydrates, okay? Now, what it's also good for, there's certain research showing for certain cancers that run off glucose, that a ketogenic diet can help alongside with chemo and radiation in fighting that cancer. It can't do it alone, and we don't have 100% proof, but we see promising results matching a ketogenic diet against certain cancers, not all cancers. And this is also with gut bacteria. We heard about the gut microbiome. It's getting real popular lately, and for good reason. It's very important, but we really don't understand it yet. And one of the things is where a ketogenic diet is good for it. For an example is something like Candida, which is a yeast-based bacteria in the stomach where a little bit is good, but we're starting to see it very overgrown in a lot of people because of the high processed carbohydrate diets and high sugar diets. So again, for Candida's purposes, when you rob the body of glucose from carbohydrates, the Candida starts to eat at itself and go away over time. That being said, that can also, if you have another issue with your gut bacteria, where you need more fibrous vegetables, you need grains to help with the gut bacteria, a ketogenic diet isn't what you're looking for. So again, you need to work with a professional to actually help you along to make sure it's the right tool for you. So what's bad about a ketogenic diet? Now, first up, it's not very sustainable for a lot of people. Everybody loves carbohydrates, the reason why we all overeat them, and they're good for a lot of purposes, for high intensity exercises and things of that nature. But for most people, they go on a ketogenic diet, they lose weight at first, they hit a plateau, they start eating carbohydrates again, they're not taught how to reintroduce them properly, and they rebound and gain more weight than they did in the first place. This is the hard thing about elimination diets, is if you don't have a coach to help you through that process, you can get these major swings, you get discouraged. So this is why ketogenic diet is tough, because it's really not sustainable in the long run, but it can be valuable too in the short run. Just know in the long term it's probably not a good thing. Why it's also bad is, again, what we talked about before, is high intensity exercise. We use carbohydrates as fuel for that sprinting, weightlifting, any kind of high-end sport. Again, maybe not Ironman running, jogging, low intensity exercise, but for high intensity exercise, or even just lifting weights and strength building, carbohydrates are going to be much better for you instead of a ketogenic diet. So we've seen a little bit of decrease in performance for high intensity exercise. So that's also why it's bad. Other than that, who would I recommend it for? Okay. Now, where I've used it for certain clients is somebody who maybe has been in a plateau for a while. They've kind of always used a moderate high carb diet. They haven't been able to lose fat in a long time. They've been in a plateau for a long time. So what I'm using is for maybe 6 to 8 weeks. It is something called the Keto Reset Diet, made popular by Mark Sisson. He has a book called Keto Reset, is where I learned this. For a few weeks, let's say 6 to 8, and keep it simple, you follow a ketogenic diet. This is going to teach people how to reutilize those carbohydrates, your fat oxidation for fuel, right? It's going to teach your body again, because it's been a while, to use fat for fuel. Okay? Then little by little, your body's also improving its insulin resistance or its ability to use carbohydrates, because it hasn't used any in a while. For 6 to 8 weeks, while you're starving of carbohydrates, once you reintroduce them very slowly, I'd start with fibrous vegetables, fibrous berries, and fibrous fruits. Very slowly over time, your body will be better at using those carbohydrates. That's the premise behind the keto reset diet. So that's about it, y'all. Real simple. The ketogenic diet, it's good, it's bad, it's not a fad. It's going to be used. You're going to see it over and over again. It can be very good for a lot of people. Most people who are in a fat loss state probably need to be under some sort of lower carbohydrate diet. So do I hate on it? No, because your body goes in and out of ketosis all the time. Okay, let's say someone who metabolizes carbohydrates very well, they exercise a lot. When they don't eat for maybe 12 to 14 hours, your body's going to drop into ketosis. But you start reintroducing carbohydrates again, it gets out of it. It's called metabolic flexibility, and it's essentially your body's ability to use carbohydrates and fats back and forth efficiently. So again, that's the ketogenic diet. It can be a great tool. It can also work against a lot of people because it's not sustainable, okay, for most people. But it can be a tool to help keep you, get you back to your body composition goals and to your health goals, okay? So that's it today. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what y'all want to learn about. Y'all voted on the ketogenic diet talk today. I want to know what y'all want to learn about. So please reach out to me so I can help you. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for listening. Take care.